Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Very warm welcome to all of you. आज जो गेस्ट हमारे साथ हैं वैसे तो वो किसी तारुफ के मोहताज नहीं हैं, लेकिन फॉर न्यूबीज लाइक मी who maybe who would not know him, Azam Jamil Sahab. He's a certified CPD life coach and has more than 44 years of experience, mashallah, in hospitality, tourism management, marketing, operations, people's management, training and development. His schooling journey started from HSN College Lahore and then Burn Hall Abbottabad, University of Karachi, and finally he ended up in Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. Azam Jamil Saab has spent an illustrious career spanning over 3 decades in the hospitality industry in various positions. He is currently the Chief Operating Officer of the Hashoo Education Division. Prior to this, he held positions of Dean, Hashoo School of Hospitality Management, Vice President of Learning and Development for the Hashoo Group, Corporate Director of Training and Development at Serena Hotels, and Corporate Head of Sales and Marketing, South and Central Asia for the same group. On moving to the United States in 1983, he became the first Asian to be elected to the board of Best Western Colorado, representing over 80 hotels and motels in the state. Being part of the Aga Khan Development Network for 19 years, Azam Sahib has contributed in the training and teaching of over 45,000 managers, leaders, students, and the less privileged as a volunteer. As a member of the AKDM, he has spent a major portion of his life in helping the less privileged and leading rescue efforts in earthquake and flood hit areas. आजम साहब के बारे में जितनी बात की जाए वो कम है माशाल्लाह. He's got a huge profile. क्यों ना हम डायरेक्ट उनकी ज़बानी उनके बारे में उन्हीं से सुनते हैं. So thank you very much Azam Saab for joining us today. Very
It's a
warm
pleasure.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
Sir.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Sir. So we are here, as I mentioned, to talk about our failures in life and our success maybe and some motivation. So how would you define failure? How do you take that?
I was timing you. It took you about 45 seconds to read my success story. If I was to give a failure list, you would need about 3 programs at least to just read my failure list. Because I firmly have believed, and I teach this also, that one without the other is not possible. It never has been, and it never will be. Because if you haven't failed, it's simple that you haven't tried anything. Agar kuch, I mean, you can sit in a room in your entire life, and you can tell your grandchildren, I've never failed. And you'd be right. But you've never done anything your entire life. So ये अमल का हिस्सा है. अगर आपने कुछ करना है तो फेलियर तो लिख ले, ठीक है? The only problem is how you deal with it. Some people deal with failure well and they do well, and some people don't, and they just fall apart. So once I keep mentioning Air Marshal Noor Khan's name, and he once told me, he said that I'm going to always judge you in adversity. जब तुम्हारे पे मुश्किल वक्त पड़ेगा तो फिर तुम्हारा जो बिहेवियर और तुम्हारे कैरेक्टर होगा, मैं तुम्हें उस टाइम पे जज करूंगा. अच्छे बॉस के साथ कौन नहीं काम कर सकता? जब उस बुरे बॉस के साथ काम करोगे तो फिर मैं देखूंगा तुम कितने पानी में हो. अच्छे हालात में कौन नहीं काम कर सकता? जब बुरे हालात को डील करोगे तो फिर मैं सलूट मारूंगा. So, and I have believed that. I think a person's character is judged best when things are bad. अच्छे वक्तों में कौन नहीं काम कर सकता? अच्छे वक्तों में कौन नहीं कर सकता? घर में अगर आपको कोई डोमेस्टिक इश्यूज है तो फिर आपका कैरेक्टर पता चलता है ना. अगर सब हंसी खुशी रह रहे हैं तो then there is no challenge. So yes, failure, I've had a lot of them. I'm proud of them. As a matter of fact, in one of my training sessions, I discuss only failures. because I think failure stories teach you a lot more than success stories. We tend to follow successful people, but the successful people who we follow, they have their share of failure stories. Edmund Hillary climbed Everest. You'd be surprised how many times he failed uh, trying to do that. So every major achievement is preceded by a lot of failure, as is my career. I play tennis, and tennis. Um, I've lost more matches than I won, and that's the fact. So if you look at my sports CV, you'll find 30% of the matches won and 70% of the matches lost. But I was Pakistan's national tennis champion. Michael Jordan has only one world record. Arguably, the best basketball player in history has only one world record. And you know what that is? That is most missed shots.
Wow,
Nobody's
interesting.
missed more shots than him.
Lovely.
And that's the only world record he holds. He doesn't have the world record for the most world championships, for the most goals, for the most points. The only world record he holds is most missed shots. So yeah, I'm a great believer in failure. I've done my bit. I have my share of them, and I continue to get my share of them. This failure doesn't have an expiry date. I wish failure was failure was like Prema milk, and after 3 days it would expire,
Yes.
but it doesn't. It doesn't.
Beautiful.
You live with it. So that's what's happened in a nutshell. So if there's any specific question, I'll be happy to answer it.
Not at the moment, sir. Why? Fine. Now that we've talked about failures and how you see them, सक्सेस को किस तरह आप देखते हैं आपके जहन में क्या है? What comes to mind?
देखिए success. Before I move to success, let me tell you, I was one of my clips. I don't know, for some reason went viral. One of the reasons we can't handle failures is that we've forgotten how to lose. हमने हारना भूल गए, और जब आप हारना भूल जाते हो तो हार तो आनी है. हार तो हर जिंदगी के शोबे में हार आनी है, और अगर आप उसको डील नहीं कर सकते तो देन यू फॉल अपार्ट. और अगर हम हारना भूल गए तो उसका ऑपोजिट क्या है? व्हाट इज द ऑपोजिट ऑफ losing? What is the opposite of failure, which is a very dangerous thing, and that is winning at all costs. And the minute you have the winning at all cost syndrome, then you are seeing the result that you're seeing in Pakistan today. Everybody wants to win at all costs, and that is very, very dangerous. And the reason you want to win at all cost is because you don't know how to lose. और एक शोबा था जो हमें हारना सिखाता था, वो था स्पोर्ट्स. लोग समझते हैं कि जी स्पोर्ट्स फिजिकल फिटनेस के लिए खेली जाती है. फिजिकल फिटनेस तो एक उसका बाय प्रोडक्ट है. बेसिक एडवांटेज स्पोर्ट्स का था कि इट टॉट यू हाउ टू लूज, इट टॉट यू हाउ टू फेल. So when you played, and it doesn't matter at what level you play, ये जरूरी नहीं है कि आप पाकिस्तान टीम में हो. आप अगर अपनी क्लास की टीम में हो तो वहां भी आप हार रहे होते हो, वहां भी आप अगले दिन दोबारा मैच खेलते हो. तो एक हारना हमने सीखा स्पोर्ट्स फील्ड पे. अब सैडली स्कूलों में स्पोर्ट्स में इतनी इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं है. पीपल डू नॉट पेरेंट्स डू नॉट इनकरेज देयर children to play. Their school, पहले तो मेरी लड़ाई होती थी स्कूल वालों के कि भाई आपने घरों में स्कूल खोल लिया है तो वहां तो ग्राउंड ही नहीं है खेलने का. उन्होंने आप पर्पस बिल्ड स्कूल खोल लिए, उन्होंने ग्राउंड बना लिए तो वहां कोई आता नहीं है, पेरेंट्स भेजते नहीं है बिकॉज बच्चों ने ट्यूशन के लिए जाना होता है. सो इट्स अ मिक्स ऑफ कॉम्प्लेक्स प्रॉब्लम. अब सक्सेस क्या है? सक्सेस इज समथिंग दैट यू विल गेट through effort. The most important thing to understand in success is that you are not getting it alone. ये आप समझ लें. It's never happened. Success has never been individual. Glory has been individual. Glory will come to you. Success will never come to you alone. You know, I have stood on the shoulders of big people to be worthy enough for you to interview me. Otherwise, मैं क्या हूं? मैं कौन हूं? I'm a nobody. तो हमें लोगों ने सिखाया, और जो ये समझता है ना कि मैं बहुत टीपू सुल्तान हूं और मैंने फतह कर लेना है, वो आज इस नोशन को हटा दे. इट्स नेवर डन इन हिस्ट्री. मुझे हिस्ट्री में एक एग्जांपल दे दे ऑफ इंडिविजुअल सक्सेस. हाँ, इंडिविजुअल ग्लोरी होती है. जब नील आर्मस्ट्रांग चांद पे उतरा, तो आज ही इज द फर्स्ट पर्सन ऑन द मून. There were 40 scientists who took 2 years to design his spacesuit, जिसके बगैर वो मर जाता. उन साइंटिस्ट का नाम आपको मालूम है? ना मुझे मालूम है. तो हम तो नील आर्मस्ट्रांग पे ताली बजाते हैं. Edmund Hillary, when he stepped on Everest, people don't realize 358 people were a part of his expedition. 358 people helped push this one man on top of Everest. And Tenzing Norgay, दो को उन्होंने. तो आज रॉजर फेडरर है. Roger Federer and Djokovic are the world's best, or maybe Rafa are the world's best tennis players. Why do they have a team of coaches? World champion को आपने क्या सिखाना है? And Roger Federer travels with his entire team of help. So even his success is not individual. Though he's playing on the tennis court alone, but he's not alone. उसके पीछे एक पूरी support team बैठी हुई है. And if you ever watch Wimbledon, every time they win a point or they do, where do they look? They look towards their support team sitting in the stands. That's where the acknowledgement goes. Thank you. And that's a world champion recognizing his support team. So, ये जो कॉन्सेप्ट है ना कि जी मैं क्योंकि काबिल हूं, मैं ज़हीन हूं, तो मैं सक्सेसफुल हो जाऊंगा, नहीं होगे. सक्सेसफुल तब होगे जब लोग तुम्हें सक्सेसफुल बनाएंगे. और जब, and then if this is taken to be true, then Ali, the next question is that why would people help you? वो तुम्हारे क्या लगते हैं भाई? Why would people help you succeed? And that's where leadership comes in. They will help you succeed for one reason. Not because you're a PhD, not because you're the cat's own whiskers. They will help you succeed if they like you. End of story. अगर तुम्हें वो पसंद करते हैं, तो तुम्हें कामयाब करेंगे. अगर पसंद नहीं करते, तो तुम्हें कामयाब नहीं करेंगे. हमारी करंट लीडरशिप ये समझ नहीं रही, और मेरा गला खुश्क हो गया उनको समझा के. You know, I quote old comment of Faiz Ahmed Faiz. One person went and told Faiz साहब कि फैज साहब मुझे उस लड़की के साथ इश्क हो गया है. तो फैज साहब ने कहा ये तो बड़ी अच्छी बात है, उसको पसंद भी करते हो कि नहीं? So the element of like is so strong, it overrides इश्क. वो कहते हैं ठीक है इश्क हो गया है, और तुम खून से उसको खत लिखना और अपनी ब्लेडें मारना, लेकिन उसको पसंद भी करते हो कि नहीं? And people need to understand that unless people like you, they will not help you succeed, and you cannot succeed without them. मुझे दुनिया में एक एग्जाम्पल दे दें कि जी ये शख्स खुद सक्सीड हुआ है. Glory is individual, no doubt about that. 300 people work, one guy gets the glory, and we remember that one person. So that's my concept of success and failure. Success is not happening alone, and failure is something you need to succeed.
That's a good definition. तो अब जो आप काम कर रहे हैं उसमें where does the contentment come from?
I can't hear you now.
Sir.
I can't hear you.
Sir, इस वक्त जो आप काम कर रहे हैं,
wrong. I can't hear you. Should I log on again? I don't know. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Wait.
Hello?
Let me log on again.
Sure.
Hello?
Janab, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No,
Apologies. I just lost you for a while,
no
and the
issues.
only way is a reboot. So I just rebooted.
ओके नो इश्यूज एट ऑल
जी
इस वक्त जो आप काम कर रहे हैं उसमें कंटेंटमेंट कहाँ से आती है
उसमें contentment आती है paying back से, Ali. Because you'd be surprised that training and teaching has never been my profession. I've been doing it as a volunteer. This is my way of paying back. Only in the last 3 or 4 years in my career that now I have a title that connects me to training and development or to education. But before that, even when I was looking after sales and marketing, even when I was looking after operations, I was always teaching. And I was always teaching free of cost at my own time. But I taught the entire country. I was from Karachi to Khunjra Pass, I was going. And I was anybody who asked me, I never said no. So my contentment now comes from the fact that, people that I teach, when I meet somebody on a plane and this guy is the captain of a 777 and he said that I taught him how to fly, what could be more satisfying than that? So, other than the fact that he embarrasses me in telling everybody how old I am, but 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 it's a great feeling. So, kids I taught 20 years ago now, are doing well, alhamdulillah. So, I think that's a huge reward that people that you teach or you've touched have done well, and of course, some have not done well, and that's a part of the game. Uh, the other contentment is that at this age, Ali, tell me, can I do anything else? मेरा मतलब है कि if you go into an American university, the only babas you'll find are the ones who are teaching, you know, and the older you get, teaching is one profession that people accept you. Imagine me doing sales and marketing or digital marketing or YouTube, Facebook. मुझे लोग थप्पड़ मारेंगे, I just don't fit into that thing. So at my age now, it's sort of kind of gelled in with what I do. So I teach, and I got gray hair. I've seen it, I've done it. So it's if I have to end my life, there's no better way doing it than just giving this legacy or giving something back before I go.
Wonderful. So before we part, sir, thank you very much for your time. आप
No,
कोई
not
मैसेज बोलना चाहेंगे अपने ऑडियंस के लिए, व्यूअर्स के लिए?
यार देखो, मेरी ऑडियंस तो ज्यादातर बच्चे हैं. इनके लिए मेरा मैसेज नहीं है. मेरा मैसेज उनके लिए है जो इनके जो बॉसेस हैं और इनके जो माँ बाप हैं. उनके लिए मेरा मैसेज ज्यादा है कि इनके फेलियर्स को कंडेम ना करें, इनके फेलियर्स को इनकरेज करें. बिकॉज व्हेन योर चाइल्ड और व्हेन योर स्टूडेंट फेल्स, ट्रस्ट मी, he's failed because he's done something. उसने कोई कोशिश की है, उसने कुछ काम किया है. So the acceptance of failure is a bigger problem in our country today than failure itself. We just, a kid brings home it's 7 A's in his O levels, and you know what the parents climb on is the 1 B that he's got. The parents will say, 7 A को दफा करो, इस B का जवाब दो. और खुदा के लिए, he's got 7 A's. It's time to party, guys. It's time to party. And how must he be thinking that he's come home with 7 A's and his own parents, flesh and blood, has picked the 1 B that he's got? So get out of this, please. Welcome the little bumps in. So we are all human. We are going to screw up, and accept them. I think that's the only message I can give.
अच्छा, एक क्वेश्चन आ रहा है सर, वो मैं पोस्ट कर देता हूँ. One of your fans is asking, what message would you give to the youth pursuing a career in sports in a country like Pakistan?
Okay. First of all, I'm very uncomfortable with these two words in the same sentence. Sports and career. Sports and career should technically not be in the same sentence. It's a very dangerous game to play. Okay. the odds of not making it are very, very high. You know, you love to play cricket, and you've seen, I mean, in Pakistan, you've seen such wonderful cricketers being ignored, being left out of the team, and are struggling. Yes, there are 11 successful cricketers who are playing today, but for every one successful cricketer, there are about 100 that haven't got the opportunity. So before you choose sports, yeah, choose sports as a passion, as a sideline. Nothing better than that, which I did. But the minute you start choosing sport as a career, then it's a very dangerous ground. Then you're on quicksand, and you better be prepared because a very small percentage of people make it. Very small percentage.
So एक और क्वेश्चन आया है. It says share an experience you had in dealing with a difficult person and how you handled the situation.
I didn't deal with a difficult person. I dealt with an army of difficult people in my life because difficult people are a part of your life. End of story. You know, when you go and take a job and you get an appointment letter, अली उस अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर में क्या लिखा होता है? तुम्हारी तनख्वाह लिखी होती है, तुम्हारी बेनिफिट्स लिखी होती हैं, और तुम्हारी प्रोविडेंट फंड लिखा होता है, ऑफिस टाइमिंग्स लिखी होती हैं, ये लिखा होता है कि तुम्हें मोबाइल फोन मिलेगा कि नहीं. एक चीज उस अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर में नहीं लिखी होती कि तुम्हारा बॉस बंदे का पुत्र होगा. ये नहीं लिखा, नहीं लिखा होता ना. You can get the best job in the world. Nobody can guarantee you a good human being that you'll deal with. So you'll get your share. You'll get your share of good people, and you'll get your share of bad people. Like my boss told me, I am telling your listeners that I will only judge your listeners when they start dealing with bad people. अच्छे बॉस के साथ कौन नहीं डील कर सकता भाई? कितने नफलों का स्वाब है. अच्छे बॉस के साथ तो आंखें बंद करके डील कर लो. कैरेक्टर तो तुम्हारा तब चेक होगा जब तुम एक बुरे बॉस के साथ डील करोगे. देन आई विल सी कि तुम भागते हो, या तुम कोलैप्स कर जाते हो, या तुम उसको गालियां निकालते हो दिन रात. what how do you react to that bad person? And you will get those bad people. And one of the mistake kids make today, they run. वो नौकरी छोड़ देंगे बैड बॉस के पीछे. तो मेरा उनसे सवाल ये है कि जो अगली नौकरी लेंगे, वहां का जो बॉस है वो कहां से आया है? वो मक्के मदीने से डायरेक्टली इंपोर्ट हुआ है? वो इसका भी चाचा होगा. फिर कहां भागोगे? And how far will you run, and how long will you run? So you need to stand your ground, and you need to be firm. And sometimes it's easier said than done. You can't deal with bad people, and you are forced into, walking away. You can't plant your flag every time. But get rid of this tendency to run away from bad times. घर में बुरा वक्त आता है, हम भाग जाते हैं. Look at the divorce rate amongst youngsters today. Why is it up? Because the tendency is to run. If it doesn't work, let's finish it. And this tendency has come everywhere. Don't change the goal, change the strategy.
Lovely. I have a small confession to make. ये जो इस वक्त पोस्ट हुआ है, जो लास्ट सर आप जवाब दे रहे थे जिस सवाल का, my wife was listening to you and she posted this.
I hope she's satisfied with my answer.
Hopefully. She's not here in the room now. She's somewhere else.
Chalo, you can ask her later.
I'll ask her. Chale, wonderful, sir. Thank you so very much for your time. Since there are no further questions, we'll keep meeting on the internet again.
Of course.
You take very good care.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.